Hi there, my name is Barbara Alves Rangel. I'm the film programmer at Instituto Moreira Salles. Before I begin my quick presentation, I just would like to thank Stephanie Dennison for the very nice invite to take part on the Sadler seminar series. And today I will talk briefly about IMS Convida, which is a program of commissioned works launched by IMS in 2020. First of all, I would like to introduce the activities of IMS, which I called IMS in a nutshell. IMS is Instituto Moreira Salles, a 100% private institution in Brazil that has 3 cultural centers in Rio de Janeiro, in São Paulo, and in Poços de Caldas. The main activities of IMS are exhibitions, debates, publishing in catalogues and magazines, like catalogues for the exhibitions, of course, and magazines such as Serrote, a magazine dedicated to essays, and Zoom, a magazine dedicated to contemporary photography. And we have also film screenings. That's why I work there. Besides that, IMS has great archives in photography, literature, music, and iconography. So let me talk briefly about Convida. Convida was created to provide support to artistic production during the first wave of the pandemic. Well, I must add that the first wave of the pandemic in Brazil has never ended somehow, but in March 2020 we didn't know that. Artists and collectives were selected by IMS curators and programmers, and the areas that they would work would be photography, music, literature, drawing, filming, and visual arts. This also I would like to point out that as the proposal was quite free, these areas they would be somehow blurred, but this you are going to see a bit later on when you study the website. And the Convida had 3 phases. The first one launched in April 2020, the other launched around August, September 2020, and the later one around December 2020. By now, although the pandemic is still going on in Brazil, we launched not a phase 4 of the Convida, but we started to work on the reflections about the program. So we are hosting some debates around the themes and the works that were presented in Convida. So what was Convida about? There were very simple rules for the artists, that the works must not breach out the rules of social isolation, and the creator must have the right to use images and sounds at his or her work. And there were simple rules for curators. The selected artists should represent the diversity of Brazil's different regions, and also in terms of gender, race, and social and economic background. So this would mean that if we came up with a list of 100% male, white men from middle class in São Paulo, this list would be a totally no. So in the process of creating Convida, each programmer or each curator would present a list between 5 and 10 artists or collectives. The lists were made mainly through very active research on more independent artists to match curatorial guidelines. This means that we would try to find out artists on Instagram, on websites, on Facebook, on even TikTok, but not necessarily in the main traditional exhibition places, so to speak. The results: 100 171 creators were invited. The formats were mainly videos and films, but also texts, seminars, live performances, and even an animation course. And this is also very interesting because Convida had artists or group of artists, like a musical group, for instance. But we had also collectives, which means that these collectives, they would propose like not only just only one work, but they would propose a workshop for many people to take part in. So that's why we had somehow this list of 171, but presenting more works than just 171. I hope this is clear. And well, all the works were presented at a dedicated website, which is convida.ims.com.br. There was no division between the areas. The works were organized by alphabetical order, and this, at the end, this presentation mode was a way that would blur these categories. You see, you would not come up to the photography artist, or the photographer, or the filmmaker, or whatever. Everything would be blurred. Also because even the artists would blur these categories on their own works. So this very simple presentation mode would let the spectator, would guide somehow the spectator to make his or her own research on the website, on this website, instead of going through very narrow framed categories. That's it. As you see, by the end, IMS Convida was very simple. I think what makes the project really interesting is the quality and the innovation and the freshness, so to speak, of the works presented by these artists. And one positive point in terms of curatorship is that this very simple guideline to respect Brazil's cultural, gender, and socio-economic diversity, this would oblige curators that are based only in Rio and São Paulo to do a very good prospection on new artists. And this proves that it's not about not having quality artists outside these regions, but actually this proves that the artists are there. We as curators have the obligation to go after them, not that they should come after us. And this, I think, maybe is the main lesson of Convida in terms of curating, at least for the IMS team.